Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to my channel. So, guess where I am right now? So, I'm at the X Park Go-Kart parking lot at Bandar Seri Sandayan. So, today is a pretty interesting video because I'm going to feature two cars at the same time. So, what car I'm going to feature? And yes, here you go. This is a comparison video between the 2019 newly facelifted Proton Saga Premium and the newly 2020 facelifted Perodua Bezza Advance. So before we start anything, we need to talk about the specification of this both car in Malaysia. So for the Proton Saga, you are offered with three variants only. It's a 1.3 liter standard manual. Then moving to the middle spec, we have the 1.3 liter standard automatic. And this top of the range 1.3 liter premium. And for the Bezza, there are four variants. So the base variant being a 1 liter G variant is a manual transmission. Then moving on, we have the 1 liter G automatic, and the middle spec would be the 1.3 liter Premium X, and this top of the line, the 1.3 liter Advance. So let's talk about the background of this 2019 Proton Saga and the Perodua Bezza. So the Proton Saga right here is the third generation model. So previously, the first Saga, which is launched in 1985, is the first generation Saga. Then came with the 2008, the Saga BLM being the second generation, as well as the Proton Saga FLX. And came with the third generation Proton Saga, the Saga VVT, which is launched back in 2016. And surprisingly, the Perodua Bezza, the first ever Perodua sedan, also launched in 2016 to compete against the Proton Saga VVT. So for the platform, this Saga VVT Premium right here uses the same platform as the Proton Saga FLX, but with some improvement on the components. Whereas for the Perodua Bezza, it is based on the A segment hatchback of Perodua, which is the Perodua Asia. So it's basically a Perodua Asia with the additional boot behind. Alright, now let's check out the performance of this both A segment sedan in Malaysia. So let's start from the Saga first. So the Saga uses the 1.3 liter Campro VVT engine, produces 94 horsepower at 120 Newton meters of torque, and transmission. For this newly 2019 facelifted model, it drops the previous Saga VVT Punch CVT to a 4-speed automatic sourced by Hyundai. For the Bezza, you have two engine options. The 1 liter G, both manual and automatic, uses the same 1 liter 3-cylinder engine from the Asia. Whereas the 1.3 liter Premium X and this 1.3 liter Advance uses the same 1.3 liter with the dual VVTi technology. So the engine for the 1 liter for the Bezza produces 67 horsepower and 94 Newton meters of torque. Whereas the 1.3 liter engine right here produces 94 horsepower and 1 Newton meter higher than the Saga, which is 121 Newton meters of torque. Alright, let's begin our exterior walk around between the Proton Saga Premium as well as the Perodua Bezza Advance. So let's talk about the exterior of the Proton Saga Premium first. So for the headlights, as usual, each variant you get a Proton Saga being the lowest variant or the highest variant of this premium. You does not get the LED headlight as the Perodua Bezza, which offers from the most basic variant 1.0 liter G. It already comes with a LED headlight even until the 1.3 liter Advanced, which is the full spec. But for the Saga, being the full spec model, still does not come with LED headlight. As for the front grille, it does not get the Thundercat logo. Instead, you get the previous Proton Shield logo, and you get the infinite weave design grille, and this chrome strip running through the headlights and the grille, which improves the sportiness of the car. And as for the side, so this is my most favorite part of the Proton Saga, which is the LED daytime running light, which is finished in a 3D crystal kind of design. So this design also you can find in the Proton Persona as well as the Proton Iris. For the Perodua Bezza, even though it does not come with the LED daytime running light, but I still get the chrome kind of design which extends from the headlights to the front grille. And the front look of the Perodua Bezza is based on the Perodua newest X design. So this design philosophy also you can find in the Perodua Arus, the Perodua Myvi, the Perodua Asia, as well as the oncoming the Perodua Activa. We also use this kind of design philosophy. And this side panel right here reminds me of the Perodua Myvi, which is finished in gloss black. And this you get the front fog light, which is finished in bulb. Headlights finished in LED, which adds a bit of futuristic feel to the Bezza. And what you think about the front look? To me, it's a pretty subjective stuff. Some people think that the Proton Saga looks better, some think that the Perodua Bezza looks better. Moving to the side, so both variants of this Saga and the Bezza gets the 15-inch rim. For the Saga, the standard variant gets the 14-inch rim, same as the Bezza. And for the Saga Premium, you get this 15-inch dual-tone AMG inspired alloy rims, which is finished in 185/55 R15. Whereas for the Bezza, you get a slightly narrower tire. It's finished in 175/60 15-inch tire. It is also finished in multi-spoke dual-tone rims. And both Saga and Perodua Bezza comprises of front disc brake and rear drum brakes. So to me it's not a big deal, just that the Saga has a wider tire profile compared to the Perodua Bezza, which means that on highway and high-speed driving, the Proton Saga comprises of better handling and better stability compared to the Perodua Bezza. So both you get LED signal indicators at the side mirror, and the side mirror housing is also finished in body colored. So this color, Snow White, and this is the signature color as you found in the new Myvi, which is the granite grey color. So for the door handle, this Saga, no matter which variant you choose, it does not come with a keyless entry. And no chrome door handle is fitted in the Proton Saga, whereas for the Bezza, starting from the 1.3 liter X, you already get the keyless entry as well as the chrome door handle. Which to me, the convenience of the Perodua Bezza in this point is much more convenient than the Proton Saga, because Proton Saga does not equip with the keyless entry and start system even until the most highest spec. So for the rear design, like I mentioned, pretty subjective design, so I won't complain about both the Bezza and the Saga looks. So you can judging by yourself which you think is better. You can comment down below and let me know. So now let's continue our walk around tour for the rear. So for the Saga, standard across the variants, it does not come with the LED tail lights. Whereas for the Bezza, even the most basic, the 1.0 liter G variant, does come with LED tail lights. So this is a bit of drawback for the Saga for not offering the LED tail lights. For the Bezza, this being a 2020 newly facelifted model, remember the previous 2016 Bezza have a rather tall rear bumper, which people calls it a tongette look because the rear is jacked out a little bit compared to the front, which makes it not so seimbang, the whole body style of the Bezza. So for the facelifted model, the Perodua designer have designed this kind of diffuser kind of design, as well as this gloss black finishing together with some panels right here and a reflector to make it less tongette as the 2016 model. To me, it looks fine. And now let's moving to the Proton Saga. And first thing you notice is this side vents right here, which are not functional. it adds to the aesthetic stuff. So many people think that this rear bumper of the Saga is inspired by the Mercedes-Benz AMG bumper, which I personally feel the same. But to me, this design works fine in the Saga. And down here you get the chrome lining running across the under part of the bumper together with the slight diffuser design. As compared to the Bezza, it's just a flat surface. And for the rear bumper, I think Saga have the most design features. And for the Perodua Bezza, it does not come with the ductile spoiler. This is part of the Perodua's gear up accessories. You need to top up to get the ductile spoiler. Whereas for the Saga, for the premium spec, you already get the ductile spoiler, but it's finished in body color instead of gloss black. But still, it adds a bit of sportiness to the car. For the antenna, the Saga still uses the pretty conventional antenna design, whereas for the Bezza, they have upgraded it to a shark fin antenna, which looks pretty modern. Okay, so now let's check out the interior of the Proton Saga. First, we start from this, then we're moving to the Perodua Bezza. So like I mentioned in the earlier video, the Walkaround video, the Saga does not come with a keyless entry and the keyless start function. Instead, you need to use this key to unlock and start the car. It's a conventional flip key design, and to me it feels pretty high quality. So you have your lock, unlock and your panic button, and you hold the unlock button for a couple of seconds to unlock the boot. So now let's get inside the car. Press the unlock. So here's the interior of the Proton Saga Premium. And the owner of this Proton Saga have rewrapped the seats to a aftermarket leather seat. The original seat for the Proton Saga Premium is actually fabric. Instead, for the Perodua Bezza, for the full spec, you get the semi-leather seats, which has the combination of sweat and the leather, which I'll show you later. And back to the Proton Saga. For the seat control, you have your height control. This is your adjust your seat back, and this is to adjust your seat position. Whereas for the Bezza, the 1.0 liter G, the basic variant, does not come with the height adjuster. So for the sitting comfort, it's rather not so comfortable compared to this Saga, which offers the height adjustment standard across the range. No matter you are the lowest variant, the standard manual, to the full spec premium, you get the height adjustment for the seat. Here's the door cuts. Standard, this being an A segment sedan, you don't expect any soft touch material or hard plastic, but the hard plastic is the quality hard plastic. It feels smooth to the touch, and this part is not wrapped in any fabric or leather. It's just hard plastic, but it feels alright. Does not feel pretty low quality in my opinion. And here you get some door pockets and a cup holders. And here's your window controls. And one downside of this Proton Saga is it does not come with automatic down or up for the driver's side as compared to the Bezza 1.3 liter Advance, which comes with the auto down and auto up driver's side window. As for the side mirrors, it does not come with the auto fold side mirror as the Perodua Bezza does. You need to flip it manually like this. But to me, it's not a big deal. You can always buy a module and install it in the aftermarket accessory shop. But still, you get the electronic side mirror adjustment. The door handle is finished in silver material. And I need to show you the door closing sound. In my opinion, it's pretty solid than the Perodua Bezza, because it has some weight for the Proton Saga. So even for the back door, it's pretty solid when you open and close. So this is the good side of the Proton Saga. So now let's get inside the car and let's start. So you need to insert the key into the slot right here. So when you're entering to the accessory mode, the meter will actually goes one round to check. It reminds me of the older times of the American sedans. So let's start the car. And the 1.3 liter engine came into life. So now let's close the door. So okay, so here's the central locking of the Proton Saga. It's mounted at the center, so you press it to lock. In my opinion, the door closing sound feels solid than the Perodua Bezza because it does not generate a loud sound as compared to the Bezza. So now let's start from the steering wheel. So unfortunately for the Proton Saga, even until to the full spec, the premium does not come with a leather wrap steering wheel. It only comes with a urethane red steering wheel together with the sport grips. But to me, it's not a big deal because you can always wrap in the aftermarket accessory shop. Whereas for the Bezza, for the 1.3 liter Advance, it comes with a leather wrap steering wheel together with some stitching. And right here is your volume control and your Bluetooth telephones. And here is to control your different mode of your touchscreen infotainment display right here. So right here you get your analog media cluster, but it's finished in a pretty high quality display. So here's your engine temperature, here's your fuel gauge, and this is your multi-information display. It's not finished in the colored multi-information display as the Proton Iris Premium and the Proton Persona Premium. Instead, it's finished in a monochrome. And now the mileage is already traveled 31,000 kilometers, and this is your distance to empty, your gear position. So press this to cycle between your trip A, your trip B, your instant fuel consumption, your average fuel consumption, and that's about it. And the steering of this Proton Saga could be adjusted tilt but not telescopic, but it's still better than the Perodua Bezza, which has a fixed steering column. And for the overall dashboard quality, it's pretty solid, even though it's finished in all hard plastic. And right here, the aircon vents is finished in a chrome accents to give it some silver design. And the signal stop of the Proton Saga is at the left, like most Proton vehicles. And the signal stop quality is rather decent compared to the Perodua Bezza. So as for the screen, this screen is a floating touchscreen. So to me, this wins compared to the Bezza, which has a 2D unit which chucks into the dashboard. And this to me adds a little bit of design details inside the Proton Saga. And there are a lot of things to show off. Your task manager, your file manager, your gallery, and this touchscreen does support screen mirroring but no Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And down here you get your Proton wordings. And here's your slot. You can slot your phones right here, and it's finished in a rubberized material so your phone won't wobble around. And you get your rear defrost, your hazard light switch, your front parking sensors, and your traction control off. Here's your air conditioning panel. It's a manual air conditioning, but it's totally fine for me. But one thing I think that Proton Saga should improve is it does not come with the different mode whereby you can blow your face or blow your leg. This is just finished in one way, which is blow your head. So you have no any selection to select between you want the air to blow to your leg, your face, or the front windshield. And down here you get a 12-volt socket, your USB ports, 2 cup holders, and here's the 4-speed automatic for the Proton Saga. And here S mode is entering like those in the L mode for Perodua Bezza. During S mode, it will only lock into 3 gear and it won't shift up to 4th gear. So this car does come with a reverse camera, but it does not come with a 360-degree camera, which to me for A segment sedan is totally fine to have a reverse camera because the dimension of this car is not long. You get a manual handbrake, some storage space down here, and you get a 2 USB port at the back. So the practicality of the Proton Saga is rather alright. You get a glove box, and this car gets 2 airbags, same like the Bezza, anti-lock braking system, electronic stability controls, hill start assist, so and so forth. And you get a pretty high quality LED dimming light, which to me looks pretty nice, and this Chinese motif design. Your sun visor does get a venting mirror for both sides, and the grip handle is also retractable. And this is all about the interior of the Proton Saga. So now let's check out the back seat of the Proton Saga. So like I mentioned, the door opening for the rear quite wide, so give you easy access into the car. So the front have been adjusted to my comfortable driving position. So I get about this much in terms of legroom, this much in terms of headroom. It's actually not that spacious compared to the Perodua Bezza. But one thing Proton Saga does better job than Perodua Bezza is it offers a rather full length seat bench and also rather good sitting angle, so you can sit behind here pretty comfortable compared to the Perodua Bezza. So I can slot my feet underneath the front driver seats. And this car does not come with any armrest, and the headrests of this Proton Saga are not adjustable, but you can fold down the rear seat by pushing these two buttons, and it folds 100% instead of 60-40 split as the Perodua Bezza. And you get the ISOFIX top tether point right here. So it's rather alright sitting at the rear, and you get 2 seat pockets. So for the boot, obviously it's not as spacious or as big as the Perodua Bezza, because the Perodua Bezza has a 508 liters of boot space, whereas for the Proton Saga it only has 420 liters of boot space. Even so, it's still a respectively big boot space. And underneath here you get the emergency triangle and a space saver spare tire. But up here does not covered with anything, so it does look a bit cheap in my opinion, but it's totally fine for A segment sedan. Okay, now let's check out the interior of the Perodua Bezza Advance. So as I mentioned, it does come with the keyless entry. So here's the smart key of the Perodua Bezza. It's the same key fob as you found in the Perodua Arus, the Perodua Asia, the Perodua Myvi, and I think the oncoming Perodua Activa still uses the same key fob. Pretty JDM key fob design, lock, unlock, boot release, and the pen button. So you press for a couple of seconds to open up the boot. So to unlock the car, you locate the button at the driver's side. You press once to unlock the driver's door. You press the second time to unlock the other doors. So this is a safety feature for ladies who are traveling alone every time to work, and the car is parked on a pretty dark situation. This feature comes in handy as a safety feature. So for the seat control, for A segment sedan, obviously it comes with a manual seat adjustment. So here, this is your seat height adjustment, seat back, and your seat position. But unfortunately for the 1.0 liter, it also comes with a seat height adjuster. So I think Perodua will improve it in the next Bezza model. And here's the seat I'm talking about. Semi-leather with combination of red stitching as well as this sweat material, which only offers in the more higher grade cars like BMW and Mercedes. For Perodua Bezza, it offers with this kind of combination. In my opinion, it's pretty nice. So now let's step inside the car. Okay, so to start, put your phone on the brake and hit the start button right here. So here's the startup sound of the Perodua Bezza. So one thing you will notice, the door, in my opinion, is a bit light compared to the Proton Saga. And I think it's less solid than the Proton Saga. And right here, this is to turn off your auto start eco idle. So when you reach a traffic light, if you leave this function in on, the car will actually shut off the engine to save some fuel. But when you stay on the acceleration pedal, the car will actually restart back the engine, which the Saga does not offer with, which saves some fuel. And this is to turn off your traction control, and this is to turn off the Advanced Safety Assist 2.0. So this feature is the first advanced safety feature being featured in the A segment sedan, because only Bezza offers with this autonomous emergency braking with pedestrian detection, which the Saga does not offer with. So to me, this is a plus point for the Bezza. And it does come with side mirror folding and electronic side mirror adjustment. So here's your push start, And down here you get a small storage space to store your smart tag. And this lid right here is rather solid. You get your door pockets and the cup holders right here. So as for the steering, for the 1.3 liter Advance, you get leather wrap steering wheel together with the white stitching, which the Saga does not offer with the leather steering. So a plus point for the comfort side. And the leather are quite smooth as well. But one downside is this steering column of the Bezza are not adjustable, so it's in a fixed angle. So you may find this driving position not so ergonomic, but it's totally fine for daily town usage. And here's the meter. Let me switch on the headlights. You get the white illumination for the rings as well as the speedometer. To me, it's not as beautiful as the Proton Saga, but it's totally fine. And you get a multi-information display at the center. And here's the signal stock and the light stock of the Perodua Bezza, which has what you call lane change system. So you just tap one time, it will flash for 5 times when you are switching your lanes. And to me, the signal stock of this Perodua Bezza is much more high quality than the Proton Saga. This is Toyota quality, so obviously it has a better quality. So you get your steering control on your left instead on the right. This is to control your touchscreen system right here, which supports phone mirroring, but it does not support Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. So here's your radio. So this is your typical Perodua touchscreen. You can find in the Myvi, the Arus, the Asia. This is your aircon panels, and the knobs are pretty high quality as well. So this is the feature you does not found in the Proton Saga, which is your mode setting. You can switch between you want to to blow your face and leg, your leg and your front defrost, and your front defrost only. So this is the feature that Proton Saga needs to be improved. You get some chrome accents, front parking sensors, and the door lock of the Perodua Bezza is louder than the Proton Saga, which to me is totally fine, but sometimes it may scare you. This is your manual air circulation. This is your storage space, your 2 cup holders, and this is your 4-speed automatic of the Perodua Bezza. This is your leather gear knob pouch. This part is wrapped in soft touch plastic. So if you see into reverse, it does come with a reverse camera. And your manual handbrake. And 1 USB ports at the rear. So overall, for the practicality side, it's rather okay. But one thing I need to complain that the front seat of the Perodua Bezza is rather short length compared to the Proton Saga, which your thigh will be hanging while you are driving. So they need to maximize the interior practicality. So this is what they do to provide you a spacious cabin. But I would prefer the seat to be full length instead of this rather short length, because it provides me less support when you are driving long journeys. So now let's check out the rear seats. So let me adjust to a comfortable driving position, and now let's check out the rear. So the door opening are quite wide, so you can access into the car pretty easily. Chrome door handle, some fabric inserts, silver finishing door handle, and you get some storage space at the back. So as for the rear, as you can see, you can tell the difference compared to the Saga. This offers a much better leg room for the rear as compared to the Proton Saga. And this also means that the rear seat span right here is short length compared to the Proton Saga. My leg is rather hanging for the rear seat bench. But at least compared to the pre-facelift Perodua Bezza, which everyone complains that the seat angle for the rear seat is rather upright, for this time they have redesigned the seat back to provide a better sitting position as well, and also the comfort for the rear seats. And you get the same combination of leather and suede materials. And you get front seat pocket and your 3 kg hook and a handbag holder. So the practicality side is is fine for the Bezza, and you have a dimming light for the middle, retractable grip handle. And it does not come with the center armrest, but it does come with a seat folding, which splits 60-40 by pulling these two levers right here. And the seat angle are fixed, you cannot adjust forward or back. And you get adjustable headrests for the rear, and also the isofix child seat top teeter point. So yeah, let's check out the boot. So for the boot, it's the biggest boot amongst the A segment contestant. It has a crazy 508 liters, which is before the seats are full. When the seats are full, it will offer a bigger boot space. So down here you get some storage space, as well as a space saver spare tire, as well as a rear boot light. So for the functional side, it's rather okay, and the boot space is huge for the Bezza. Moving to the conclusion time, should you consider the 2019 Proton Saga Premium or the 2020 Perodua Bezza Advanced? So I have concluded some of the notes here. So if you are someone who likes driving and you enjoy the driving, as well as the stability of the car, and you can consider the Proton Saga. Why? Because this Proton Saga has the Lotus ride and handling tuning, so the chassis tuning of the Proton Saga is better than the Perodua Bezza. And as well, for a long journey trip and also highway driving, the Proton Saga offers you a better stability compared to the Perodua Bezza. And also, the features being offered in the Saga are also rather complete, put aside the active safety feature which are not present in the Saga. And also the price are relatively cheap for the Proton Saga Premium compared to the Perodua Bezza, which sells at 54,000 ringgit Malaysia, which you can consider a B segment Myvi 1.3 liter G or the Premium X. So Proton Saga, if you like driving and you enjoy driving and the stability of the car, you can consider the Saga. And moving to the Bezza, so if you are someone who just drive around town and you need to fetch a lot of stuff daily, and you cares about the fuel consumption, and I think the Bezza is the car for you, because the Bezza comes equipped with the Eco Idle system and a fuel efficient 1.3 liter dual VVTi engine. So it provides an excellent fuel economy compared to the Proton Saga. And also the practicality of this Perodua Bezza are also much more better compared to the Proton Saga, because it offers a 508 liter of boot space and the interior room is relatively spacious. But there are slight compromise, which is the comfort side, because for the Perodua Bezza you have a rather short length seat as compared to the Proton Saga, and if you are driving these two both for a long journey trips, you may feel a bit tired in the Bezza because the steering column can't be adjusted, so the driving position is rather sacrificed. And yeah, this is all about the Proton Saga Premium as well as the Perodua Bezza comparison. So if you have any comment regarding to these two cars, you can comment down below and let me know what you think about these two best-selling A segment sedan. And be sure to subscribe, like and share my video if you like my Walkaround series. And you can also check out my reviews of the Proton Saga in my previous video, as well as the Perodua Bezza. And I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.